Hello, folks. Let's talk about one very interesting part of the generative AI and very practical part of generative AI-assisted development. I'm Maxim Salnikov. I work in Microsoft. I'm based in Norway, and I help developers to succeed with cloud technologies, with generative AI, and with productivity tools we have in Microsoft. And GitHub Copilot is one of these tools. I myself, a developer, I build different web solutions since late 90s of the last century. I'm big fan of the developer communities. I organize few meetups and founded few conferences here in Norway for the technical audience. And you often find me speaking at the meetups and conferences around the world, where my favorite topics are web development, cloud, and everything around generative AI. Before moving to the conversation about GitHub Copilot, let's talk a bit about flow, about this very specific, very, I'd say, unique state of mind of us developers, where we are the most productive and we are the most happy at work. So what is flow? There are tons of different definitions, but for me, this is a state of mind where I sit and code and develop, and nothing else distracts me. No messenger messages pop up. No need to go to search for answer somewhere outside of my IDE. No phone calls. No colleagues asking me. No, I sit and I'm fully in the context of my current task, and this is what's making me really productive and really happy. And I believe the same for most of the developers. It's quite challenging to get into the flow. I mean, you need to do some like rituals before this, right? Disable all notifications, all messages. Just make sure that you are not distracted, etc., etc. But super easy to get out of this flow, right? Something happened, and yeah, you distracted a bit, and you have to go back into flow state. You have to go back into context of your current task, and research shows that on average it takes 23 minutes for the developer to fully go back into the context of its of their current task. Just imagine how many times you can get out of the flow during your workday, and multiply by 23, and you'll get number of minutes where you are not that productive, right? So to sum up, the longer we are in the flow, the better for us. It's happier, more fun to develop, and better for business. We are more productive. And actually, numbers are supporting this idea. With GitHub Copilot, that is tool that helps you to stay in the flow longer. You spend much less mental efforts on repetitive, or we can say boring tasks. We can be much more focused on job, on work that makes us happy, that brings let's say feeling of accomplishment that is more satisfactory, and as a result, 73% of developers, they say that with using GitHub Copilot, they are more in the flow. Why is this? Where is the magic of GitHub Copilot? Well, it's pretty simple. It helps you to focus on what matters most. And as you see on the slide, what normally matters most and what brings most joy in the programming, in the coding, in the development, when we design something, right? When we brainstorm some maybe quite comprehensive and challenging task, when we collaborate with our, let's say, pair programmer, or maybe with a team, when we iterate, when we plan, but definitely not when we are trying to find, okay, where is the type, or where is potential code vulnerability, or writing tests, or trying to remember next git command we need, and etc, etc. So more time on something that brings creativity to our workday, and less time on routine things. And this is actually what we call Copilot effect. It maximizes developer happiness. As a result, it increases developer productivity. As a result, it accelerates software development. Let's say from what developers need to what businesses need. Looking at this, not a surprise at all that GitHub Copilot is preferred by 55% of developers over other AI coding assistant, and I can say that the second place is with a quite large margin. It's like 13% or something like this. It's used by over 1.5 million developers, and this number is increasing while I speak. And like over 37,000 companies are using GitHub Copilot. So what I normally do, I go and update these last two numbers on that slide after before every next presentation on GitHub Copilot. What do we have? What components of GitHub Copilot we have so far? What's in production and what's coming? Let me give you a brief overview. First of all, code completion that allows you to save time and energy on coding. It's available in multiple ways, multiple flavors. First of all, you can write a comment and get code suggestion based on this comment. You can just code and you will get suggestion for your next line of code based on what you had previously, and also it gives you not just one suggestion, so you can iterate through multiple proposals and pick the most relevant one. What we focus most today during our demo is chat experience. It's relatively new and it went to general availability quite recently, but now it's available in production for everyone without extra cost, by the way. And this extends this AI assisted coding experience where you can ask specific questions, both about your current project and development in general. It can explain you in your code or code written by your colleagues, or code written by you maybe a year ago and you don't really remember what it works. I'm speaking for myself, that happens quite often with me. Security matters, right? It helps you to find potential vulnerabilities, find and fix. What's in beta currently? Again, it might change while we speak, but currently in beta we have Copilot for command line interface. Again, speaking for myself, it takes some time for me to find some Git command that I'm not using often, right? But with GitHub Copilot for CLI, we can explain what we want in natural language, in English, for example, and get this command, right? And also we can get explanation about what this particular command does, if you want to recall something from memory. And after all, what is coming. These features that I go through next are in different stages of either public preview or private preview, but they are coming to production very soon. And all these features are part of upcoming GitHub Copilot Enterprise plan. Again, I hope that this will be available very, very soon for everyone, for every company, every enterprise. Help with pull requests. Again, speaking for myself, I'm not big fan of writing of spending time on writing detailed description on what's going on in this particular pull request, and this is where AI definitely can help, right? Generative AI is perfect in summarizing things, and this is exactly the case for pull request. For example, it can provide you with the list of the changes. And of course, we are not talking about just this line of code was changed to this line of code. No, it's about natural language explanation, what actually happened here. Also, it will help you to automate code reviews. Maybe you want to get some help from AI in understanding, is this new line of code or block of code good enough to ever go to production branch? And yeah, also gives you explanations on changes and comments. Next point here is documentation. First of all, GitHub Copilot can help you with writing documentation, and you actually don't even need enterprise tier for that. But enterprise will help you to chat with your documents. Maybe it's the simplest explanation. It's conversational documentation search. I mean, not just based on the keywords like classic search works. You can pick your set of documents, for example, in form of markdown files, and say, okay, this doc set is available for search through GitHub Copilot for documentation, and yeah, this way you can kind of scope and categorize these sets of documents, and also it gives you a chance to get summaries, and it references to the sources. I mean, if it explains you something from your documentation, you can check, okay, is this really true or not? Because you'll be provided with concrete references to concrete places in concrete files. That also really, really cool. And last but not least in this set of upcoming GitHub Copilot Enterprise features, and you see I changed background for this slide to emphasize the real importance of this update. There is a chance for you to fine-tune model based on your own code base. Just imagine your company that develops some products for years, right? You have multiple repositories available with multiple languages, and maybe some of these languages are not mainstream languages, so you definitely need better customized or like tailored suggestions provided to you by GitHub Copilot. You can do it on GitHub Copilot Enterprise Plan by fine-tuning model, by customizing the model, and this way you get way better, way more relevant suggestions. And furthermore, you can have multiple different models fine-tuned, and for particular circumstances you can pick this model, like this updated model or that updated model. Like full flexibility is here. So this is what's available and what's coming. GitHub Copilot is super powerful tool. Like all tools, like all products, like all services, it has its own limitations, right? And it's very important to understand these limitations. Why? To make sure that we use existing features to the maximum. First of all, do not expect similar experience in like smartness of Copilot and relevancy of suggestions for all programming languages available on our planet, right? Of course, the more popular programming language, the more repositories of this language on GitHub, the better suggestions, right? After all, GitHub Copilot was trained on public repositories available on GitHub, right? So this is why if you talk about JavaScript, TypeScript, C#, Java, Python, yeah, these are definitely leaders in providing relevant suggestions by GitHub Copilot. If you talk about some more like seldom language, or maybe some, let's say, completely customized language, something that you have as your own like meta programming language or so, of course, do not expect similar smartness here. Next point, Copilot is not a compiler. That means suggestions it provides are not always the ones ready for going to production, and sometimes, yeah, your project will just break, will not be compiled based on what Copilot suggests. I mean, after providing suggestion, GitHub Copilot is not checking, right? Will this project be built or not? It's on us, still on our shoulders, on developers. After all, it's not pilot, it's Copilot. So trust, but verify. And last but not least, context window. Of course, let's say GitHub Copilot is getting better and better in understanding and flexibility of providing as much context as possible. So without any extra actions, it understands context of currently open file and tabs with open file. Using agent feature of VS Code Copilot Chat extension, you can extend context to your current workspace and some other tips and tricks here. But yeah, in the big picture, do not expect that GitHub Copilot knows everything about your, let's say, relatively large project. There is always some context window available. I mean, for sending, for getting suggestion from GitHub Copilot, it sends some data, some code to respective APIs, right? And this payload cannot be unlimited. Knowing these features and knowing these limitations, there are tips and tricks that you can use for getting maximum out of GitHub Copilot. First of all, going back to context conversation, provide as much as possible. As I mentioned, if you feel that suggestions will be better if GitHub Copilot knows about some extra files, just open them in your IDE and you will have better suggestions. Also, use workspace agent feature in VS Code chat experience. I will show you during the demo how to do this. Where GitHub Copilot really shines in patterns. For example, patterns for specifying date frames in cron, or any kind of regex. Try to ask to explain, ask to create something based on a description you give in natural language, and you will get really nice results. I already mentioned previously, trust but verify. I mean, GitHub Copilot provides smart suggestions, but they are not always production ready. Yeah, this is still like final decision is on us, on developers, and final responsibility, of course. Then rule of 3S: single responsibility, specific prompt, and short response. Don't try to solve multiple tasks per one request. This is what single responsibility rules is about. Then, in your GitHub Copilot Chat experience, try to be as specific as possible in your prompt. Of course, you'll get you might get nice answers even for very general question prompt request, but if you want to get a good result from the first try, be very specific. And also, don't try to ask GitHub Copilot for some long blocks of code and many lines of the code. No, it's not about that. Try to build your Copilot experience the way that it gives you either one line of code or just a few lines of code, right? I mean, don't expect pages and pages and pages of code as responses from GitHub Copilot. And last but not least, iterate, iterate, iterate. First of all, GitHub Copilot provides you with multiple suggestions, and you can pick the most relevant one. And even from these, if I remember correctly, 10 suggestions, it might be like not optimal ones, right? So maybe you want to rephrase your request. Maybe you want to change something in your prompt. Maybe you formulate it slightly differently, or try to get context from a slightly larger context of the code. Up to you. It's experimentation. But I promise, after all, you will find your own, your personal flow, how to work with GitHub Copilot in the most efficient way. And now, demo time. Let's try GitHub Copilot in action. First of all, let me start with demonstrating one feature that I didn't mention on my slides, but this is also available as a part of GitHub Copilot Enterprise. And this is possibility to chat with any repository, yours or any public repository, straight on github.com. You don't even need to go to your IDE, because you will have this chat with Copilot button available across all github.com. What you see on the screen is my personal project, push.foo. This is a small web application to help with the development of web push notifications. And yeah, let's give this feature a try. Let's try to chat with this file, and yeah, let's pick some function, maybe this one. And you see that this button is pretty much everywhere. So this is to start conversation with repository of your choice. This is where you start conversation with file in general, and even like with specific context within this file. So let's try this one. And also you can enable semantic code search for up to 50 repositories for your organization, and I enabled this for this repo. It gives even better search experience. Yeah, let's ask some question. What is this method about? And by the way, you don't need to have perfect and correct English here. GitHub Copilot is very good in understanding sentences with typos and maybe not 100% grammatically correct. Of course, like the more correct the better, but it's pretty forgiving in that sense. Yeah, and this method question named service worker registration, default expert, blah blah blah. And yeah, this is correct explanation of what it does. So you can chat with any file, any code block within this file, any repository. Just ask general question, what's this application about, how to start this, and if there is information about that is possible to somehow extract, you will get answer. Another feature of GitHub Copilot Enterprise, as mentioned on the slide deck, is help with writing pull requests descriptions. Couple of examples here. My another application, BPM Techno. This is a web-based BPM counter for DJs and music producers, and I have a couple of pull requests always pending. I mean, I use them for lots of different demos, and let's look at this one. So this is where I switched version of underlying library I use for detecting beats from one version to to another, and this is quite major change. And you see, I was not very good in describing. Basically, I provided zero description. Don't be like me. Write description or use GitHub Copilot. So let's try this. Generate summary of what happened in this pull request, and you see 8 commits, 6 files changed, like lots of things are going on here. So Copilot needs few seconds to generate this, but let's give it a try. Yeah, this pull request includes significant changes. Yes, I fully agree. The change was serious. First of all, updates of the package, several, and yeah, let's give it better formatting. Updated package, yes, React scripts and BPM analyzer were updated. Changes in home component of the application, something removed, something added, etc., etc. So this is pretty good, and what's more important, correct description. And of course, this will definitely help this pull request reviewer to take decision, accept it or not. So this is experience you can get on github.com. Now let's go back to simpler things of GitHub Copilot, and let's focus specifically on GitHub Copilot Chat. But now let me demonstrate a couple of things. And disclaimer, folks, I'm on the latest version of both VS Code and GitHub Copilot extension and GitHub Copilot Chat extension. So in your case, you might get slightly different experience. Maybe something is missing from what I demonstrate. Maybe something is formulated in some other words. Yeah, I'm on the cutting edge currently, and I'm like I'm testing all the latest and greatest features. So you see, this is a new what's called Sparkles experience as a part of GitHub Copilot. And yeah, it's just a simple hint for us to click and ask Copilot to generate code for something. Just good replacement of what we could ask using comments. So this is my next project, and this is basically a small demo application of enterprise-ready ChatGPT. Basically, it's ChatGPT on your own data. But yeah, we don't focus too much on the functionality of this app. Let's focus on some pieces of its code. This particular file is part of API part of this application, and yeah, let's ask Copilot to generate, for example, new method to remove new lines from the string. Okay, done. Here is new function, uses simple ways to do this replacement. We can either accept or discard this. Yeah, you see that it already started chat-like experience, but still it's not what's called really GitHub Copilot Chat, because this is here. First of all, this is separate extension, so you have to have both GitHub Copilot and GitHub Copilot Chat, and it looks like this. Welcome, and this is my handle, I'm your Copilot, blah, 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 blah. And there are multiple ways you can use chat. I mean, multiple UX-wise ways. First of all, this is dedicated pane in VS Code, right? And of course, like any part of VS Code, it's highly customizable. You can have it on the right-hand side, left-hand side. Also, via keyboard shortcut on Windows machine, this is Control-I. You can use inline chat experience, so maybe you don't want to have this prominent window always available here. You are good with this one. And also there is another chat experience, and let me close this for a second. Another chat experience called pop-up. It's Control-Shift-I, where you can also ask questions and get some answers right like as an overlay. Also, you see that it may be less destructive rather than have full sub window of chat always available. Completely up to you. As there are no two similar layouts of VS Code itself, also no two similar ways of using GitHub Copilot. So it's flexible, and it follows your habits, it follows your flows, and that's intention, of course. Okay. After all, let's check what's possible with Copilot Chat at all, right? So this is, first of all, this is far not perfect code. This is my hobby project, and it's intentionally not perfectly created just to give a chance to Copilot to demonstrate something, right? Maybe let's start from some simple things. Let's ask Copilot to explain what's going on here. And you see there are simple shortcuts you can use with slash. I will show you in a second after it's completed. Yeah, and here's explanation for you, right? So this is what I mentioned by the name of my session. When your code is speaking to you, when your code is explaining what it does, right? So it provided a really nice description of what this relatively simple function does, string template parser, and even explained what this particular regex is doing, right? So it tries to identify strings denoted by double curly braces. Let's see what else is possible with this slash prefixed commands. For example, we can write a test for selected block of the code. I'm personally not a big fan of writing tests manually at all. So let GitHub Copilot help us here. Sure, here's some unit test for this function using Jest, popular JavaScript testing framework. Completely fine. Yeah, this is exactly what I need. I can use this code. I can enter this to where my cursor is, or copy, or create new file, and yeah, I just freed myself from this maybe not super creative work as writing tests. What else? Let me, first of all, let clean current Copilot chat conversation, just to make sure that it's like new conversation without using previous context. And let's go back to this regular expression, and another way to use Copilot is via context menu. I just want to demonstrate you all different options. Explain this again, and you see we'll get explanation. GitHub Copilot is perfect in explaining and creating patterns. Yeah, it's a full theory behind what's going on here. And what I love the most, so in plain English, this is exactly what I need, right? This regular expression matches text that is surrounded by double curly braces. And this is chat. I can follow up on this. Could you change it to match only first entry? Let's see what we get. Sure, and I love that GitHub Copilot is always sure about its answers. Yeah, to match only first entry, you can remove G, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, and this is a correct answer, by the way. Good. So it's good in explaining things. It's good in changing things. Let's try something else. For example, you clearly see that naming in these couple of functions are far from being good, right? So let's try GitHub Copilot to fix this. Select, and I don't know which way to use GitHub Copilot now. Let's use pop-up experience. We want to fix, and maybe we can provide a bit more details. What exactly do we want to fix? Come up with better naming. Working? Sure, of course, sure, like always, I can help with that. Parameters are not used in. Oh, by the way, it found parameters that are not in use. This is interesting. Yeah, and I got a nice answer. So some formatting got broken here for some reason, but definitely this function needs to be renamed to something more consistent. Another thing I want to demonstrate is if I hit save and there is a change in the project, right? I can get help of GitHub Copilot in writing proper commit message. So it's like one step behind proper message for pull request. It's always good to also provide nice description of our commit message. Of course, in this case, this will be a super simple one, but let's give it a try and I will show you how that works. So you see another Sparkle experience here, and this is exactly about generate commit message with GitHub Copilot. Let's give it a try. And yeah, in this case, message itself is super simple, right? Refactor get chat history as text function signature to follow camel case convention. Yeah, so it identified convention I used here. It understood that this one is not following this and replaced this one. Of course, that's super nice experience. And again, let you not care too much about this non-creative parts of the development. Yeah, this is it for the demo. I hope I gave you some understanding what is GitHub Copilot, its possibilities, and different ways to use it. Back to the slides. I want to share a few more things around GitHub Copilot. First of all, we have lots of questions from the developers, from companies, from enterprises about legal moments around using this code. Who are the owner of this intellectual property, all these suggestions, and what about open source license considerations, and how is my code used? Is GitHub Copilot using this for fine-tuning and training the models? We have all these questions answered on a resource called GitHub Copilot Trust Center. Just go there and I believe you'll find questions that you have in the list of answered questions. There are quite a few of them. There are simple explanations, simple videos recorded. Yeah, you will get informed decision about using or not using GitHub Copilot, completely up to you, and you will use this with confidence. Among the questions that you see on the screen, there is one that is a bit out of scope, at least for me. It's not about legal things, not about licenses, but it says something like this. Will GitHub Copilot fully replace developers? I want to answer with this joke. Of course not. First of all, even name says it's Copilot. You are the pilot. GitHub Copilot was invented, was created to provide you with a great developer experience and as a result, great developer productivity. It really gives you extra power, extra superpower, I'd say. And after all, it's super fun to sit and code with such a smart pair programmer. I imagine that you have more questions about GitHub Copilot, about GitHub Copilot Chat, about its current and upcoming features. I'm here to answer. Just find me on LinkedIn. Please feel free to send me a connection request and ask. Let's stay connected. Thank you very much.